All right, welcome to everyone, tonight, November 19th. Here at the beautiful Tully Community Library. I'm gonna call to order the meeting at 7:06 p.m. And, we'll ask that we call the roll and announce the quorum has been, achieved.
Chair Ramos,
Here.
Vice Chair Banks,
Present.
Commissioner Wolf,
Present.
Commissioner Westfall, Commissioner Abastida, Commissioner Rosenbrook, here, Commissioner Sandal, Commissioner Mendoza, Commissioner Rooney, Commissioner McCurry, Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Bustamante, here, and Commissioner Baker. We don't have quorum.
Thank you, Steve. Because we are not achieved quorum, we're gonna move on beyond the next item. Which is the consent calendar, so we will not be hearing that now, we're doing something on that now. Item number 3 is open forum. There are any members of the public that wish to comment on an item that is not on the agenda today? Those wishing to speak should raise their hand and will be called upon to speak for a maximum of 2 minutes, and translation will be provided, or extra time for translation will be provided. Do we have any members of the public?
We do not.
Thank you. I will speak a lot slower in the hopes that form gets cheap. Okay. Okay, great, perfect. So, I will call your attention to the next agenda or slide.
And we just have, Mendoza come in. So we have quorum,
Thank you.
so we can move that.
We now have quorum. I will bring us back to item number 2, which is the consent calendar. And our consent calendar under action, under the consent calendar is to, item A, approve minutes for a regular meeting of September 17th, 2025. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Roney, second from Commissioner Rutherford. All those in favor, oh, do we do a roll call, or do I just ask for, I forget, sorry. We do a roll call. Do we do a roll call? Okay.
Yeah.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Are there any abstentions? All right, the motion carries. Okay, so, our next item is an informational item. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Tonight you will hear a presentation from staff here at the Tully Branch Library, led by senior librarian Melissa Dotson. Come on up. Yay.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tully Community Branch Library. My name is Melissa Dotson, and I'm the branch manager here. I want to welcome you all. I am excited to share all the wonderful programs and services that we do provide for our community. As you see in our name, focus is community, and you truly feel that here within this branch. About 20 years ago, in January 22nd of 2005, Tully opened its doors, so we were able to celebrate our 20-year anniversary here. So 20 years of serving our local community. All right, some branch facts. We are open 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. We provide 52 service hours. Our commissioner, I do not see here, Romnick, is our LEC Commissioner. We are located in the Council District 7, and our council member is Ben Don. Some features about our library, we have 33 public computers that are well utilized, 2 group study rooms, 1 quiet study room, a large community room, the capacity, as you can see, can hold up to 109 people, and 1 family learning center. And all of this is support and able to run with a full 18 staff members. A little bit about our community. Our population is at 41,026. As you can see, the largest of the population is at 40% for adults ages 25 to 54. Followed after that at 31% are our adults ages 55 and over. And then at third, the age group would be children ages 5 to 14. So mostly we have our community, our adult members as well as seniors. And then you do see families with young children that do come in and visit our library. The median household income is at 88,818. Average per capita income is at 32,972. The languages spoken at home, the top 3, as you can see, at 35% is Vietnamese. We have a large Vietnamese speaking community. Followed after that is our Spanish community at 30%. We have English only at 23%. Moving on to race and ethnicity, our at top is 46% Asian alone. We have diverse patrons and community members, so 2 or more races at 21%. If you notice with our ethnicity, there are Latinx 37% and non-Latinx at 63%. I do want to highlight the schools that we have in our surrounding area. We have many schools. We have 11 elementary schools, 5 middle schools, and 3 high schools. I do want to give a shout out to our librarians, our FLC coordinators, because they do have strong partnerships with our local school district. I've only been here for about a month, a little month and a half at Tully, but I believe there's at least 1 class visit a week since I've been here. So there are strong partnerships that's held, and so we do value that. So kudos to our librarians. All right, some usage statistics for you all. For the last fiscal year, 2024-2025, our membership count was at 23,444. One thing that I know about Tully is that they are known for their high program and attendance count overall. So within last year, we were able to provide and present 1,175 programs with a total program attendance of 21,940. And almost half of those are FLC affiliated. Total computer bookings that we do have, I did mention, our 33 public computers are well utilized. So at 15,605 computer bookings, we are ranked at 2nd highest compared to all other SJPL branches. And that does include the Dr. Martin Luther King Library in downtown. In terms of our circulation, you see we have a total circulation last fiscal year was at 146,320. Here you see in this chart, or you may see in this chart, is our top 5 circulating collections. This I think is really unique. The top 5 are all about the same percentages, around a little almost 7%, 6%. But what is unique to this, because often what I've seen at other locations is usually children's picture books takes the top. But here, our community, mostly being Vietnamese language speakers, you see that our top collection, high circulating collection, is our Vietnamese language collection. Followed by our children's series collections, then our children's picture books, and then our children nonfiction, and finally rounding up the top 5. 5th place is our young adult graphic novels. We do have a lot of teens that come in. They may not stay and hang out all the time, but they definitely check out our graphic novels. So I thought that was a very unique statistic to share with you all. All right, moving on to our programs and services. Again, Tully is known for providing wonderful programs, so many programs, diverse programs. I don't have all night to share with you all, so we'll just touch on a few and highlight them. Focusing on digital literacy, here are some examples. We do have a Maker Lab that we do host monthly. It's a monthly workshop to learn about 3D printing. and using our Cricut machine. So patrons of all ages, adults, children are able to come by and work with our devices, our Cricut Maker, Cricut Press, and our 3D printer. We have a limited selection of supplies for these machines that are available, but they're all welcome to bring their own supplies and digital designs. Here on our early education, you see in this picture here, Cassidy Pham, our wonderful librarian who presents our family story time weekly, as well as seasonal We Love Art and We Love Science programs. This is more for our age groups of 0 to 5-year-olds and their caregivers. He also has a strong partnership with our local Paseo daycare, so he visits once a month and provides a story time outreach as well. Moving on to expanded learning. We do offer diverse program offerings, lots of STEM, literacy, arts and crafts. Amongst here, we've had an Everyone Can Cook. In this picture here, they made I believe it was a Greek salad, he said, so healthy meals that the family can learn and cook together. Another program here, Everyone Can Create. So this was a program that we were able to offer last fiscal year in partnership with our Resilience Corps associate. His name is Roni. This program specifically is a digital learning program. It involves artwork, coding, math, so very STEM focused. Again, this was in partnership with our RCA. And then we'll go on to more programs and services. Cultural enrichment. Again, I've only been at Tully for a little over a month, but I've been in the system for several years. And I know that Tully is known for their cultural enrichment events. So they have large cultural and inclusive events, oftentimes having more than 200 members in attendance. Given our diverse community, we are able to celebrate the different cultures and the different holidays. Here is our last Halloween festival. I was able to attend and support, and it was a great hit. We had about 270 in attendance. We had arts and crafts. We were able to promote our booktacular giveaways, so providing books to the community. We had prize giveaways. We invited our local partners and organizations to share resources and their own services as well. So it was a wonderful hit, and this is something that they continuously are able to provide every season, celebrating such festivals like Moon Festival, Halloween Festival, Lunar New Year celebrations and so forth. Moving on to college and career readiness, we have monthly Teens Reach meetings. I do want to give a shout out to our Teens Reach members who, without them, we aren't able to fully present and prepare all of these programs. They are definitely supportive in providing that support for our programs, projects, any tasks that the librarians may have, and they're very engaged within our community. Also with adult services, we have a great mix of adult service program offerings here at Tully. Again, I mentioned earlier about half of our programs were FLC affiliated. Here in this picture, you see is our Evergreen Valley College. You may have noticed some of them, they were leaving as we were closing down the library, but it is a partnership with Evergreen Valley College. It is a non-accredited ESL course. Very popular, always full wait. They're oftentimes waitlist, and our community is definitely engaged and grateful for this. We also do offer social workers in the library and partnership with peer support for My Connect SB. Again, I do want to highlight our volunteers of Tully Community Library. We are known for presenting many programs, but if we know we have about 71 total number of volunteers at Tully, it's a blessing to be able to have that amount. With them, they have logged last fiscal year 2,080 volunteer hours. And because of them, we are able to host 13 weekly volunteer-led programs. One including on top Mathema, because when I first came in, I did not know what Mathema was. But I did mention earlier, Everyone Can Create was led by a former RCA, Roni, who has since after that continued to volunteer at Tully and is leading this as a program lead. Mathema, which is a Dungeons and Dragons inspired interactive and immersive adventure to improve math skills. And we offer this for kids from 1st to 5th grade. very fun, very interactive, so Mathema is one of the weekly volunteer-led programs. Again, family games, Lego Fun, Crochet Club, many of our ESL citizenship writing, so a good variety, all volunteer led. And again, we have our 25 Teens Reach members at Tully, and you definitely see them around, and I'm sure they're the ones also checking out our young adult crafting novels. Right. And then we have the Friends of the Library, our Tully Friends group, a small but mighty group. We have a total of 5 members that host 1 to 2 book sales per year. And because of their support, we are able to have certain funded programs, such as our seasonal illuminated crafts, as well as our adult arts and crafts. Friday Fun and all of our holiday and cultural events that we're able to present. They provide supplies and fun prize giveaways. So we are very grateful for the support of our friends. Members of the Tully team, there are 18 staff members. We couldn't get them all at once, so I wanted to include last year's holiday card. You'll see on the very top is Trina, who recently retired. So I am here at Tully, but they're a wonderful team member, and immediately as soon as I arrived, I could sense a sense of family here. There is a high staff morale here, great collaboration, great teamwork. Without their efforts and their strong relationships that they have with their customers, it's very noted. They connect with community members and partners. Through these connections, they're able to truly understand and tailor programming that is very specific to the needs of our community, our diverse needs as well. And so again, kudos to our staff, our volunteers, our friends, because you really truly feel that. As soon as I walked in, this is a community hub. There's always someone who will specifically ask for a certain staff member or is asking about a particular program. And you can really sense that sense of family and community there. So again, kudos to the Tully team. And that's it. Thank you. Questions?
All right, thank you so much. Before we take questions, I'm gonna ask if there's any public comment.
We do not.
All right, so I will open this up for the commission to ask questions or provide discussion. Thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you.
Anybody here have a comment or question for Melissa? I have one. So what is your relationship with I think the local school district is Franklin McKinley? What is your relationship with the school district here?
So I know that we have often been invited for outreach, whether if it's for festivals or class visits, but I think where the strength in the relationship lies is whenever they reach out for class visits. Again, we've hosted, there's a class visit once a week, and then even outside that rockmanship, there's several classes, and I'm still getting familiar with the lay of the land, but they're always reaching out. And so that's where the partnership lies, in sharing our resources with them and inviting them to the library, promoting the student library cards, and getting them familiar and building that partnership there. So I think that's what the strength of.
Awesome, thank you. Commissioner Rosenberg.
If I could add to that. If I could add to that, do you know how many student cards you guys have?
Well, I do not know.
We can certainly get that for you. I'll also add that this branch supports several bridge branch libraries that are in the area at the different family resource centers. So the staff have a long history of going out directly to those spaces, helping families use those bridge branch libraries where there are bridge libraries, I'm sorry, which are non-lending collection, or non-circulating collection, so families can just use the honor system, and get used to lending and get used to having books around, and go for story times and programs, parents can get engaged, get additional resources.
Are there any questions? What is virtual reality looking like? Is it like the little, like, I don't know, I'm just like, I'm having thoughts.
Cassidy may be able to answer, but I know it's the headset and the gear. This is Cassidy Fountain. He actually hosts the virtual reality.
But I'm glad I asked the question so that you can.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that question, please?
But yeah, just walk me through what the virtual reality looks like. I thought that was cool.
Our virtual reality headsets, we have two of them. Those, they were donated by the Teens Reach as well as funding from the Friends. We have two stations. They're, I believe, the Oculus Quest versions. We have them in portable scans and we present them every Tuesdays, 4 to 5. And it's really an opportunity for people to just kind of use the devices. It's not really so much programmed specifically for like an idea of like a class setting where most of the earlier versions of iterations of the virtual reality headset used to use. We use it mostly for a showcase. So that way people have front, when they enter the library, they get front row view of the device itself and anyone who participates can utilize the device. And that's usually what encourages people to actually try it. It's hard to imagine someone coming in just for the sake of virtual reality. It's usually the opportunity for someone to go see it, someone use it, and they go, hey, I want to give it a try myself. And that's usually how our program operates. And we use these devices due to not just showcase, but also give them an opportunity to learn some of the benefits, because some people may be interested in having questions of how is VR useful for me. So maybe, for example, a senior who's interested in it may pose that question. I can show them one app that gives them the opportunity to travel the world. In this case, we have an app called Google World where they can actually use a virtual reality headset and virtually travel to that place at that moment on the map, somewhere on the streets of, say, Barcelona or somewhere maybe in Tokyo. Just for an example.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that's your name. That's the question.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I just had a question regarding, any trends that you've seen, especially with your youth, like middle school children, high school children, either positive or, in the challenging terms, just that you've seen come through your library over time. I ask because I know that a lot of times that informs your future programming, with schools, but also like your outreach, your community initiatives. But yeah, like what kind of things have you seen come up with the students recently, the community recently?
I'll share a little bit of what I've seen just based on my observation. We'll try and hear, and then Cassidy may be able to share more as he has a deeper partnership with the local schools and with our teachers. What I've seen is that there are many teens and children that are here and engaged within our library community. They're here volunteering. And I think it's because of that community aspect. This is a safe space. With that, we are encouraged and through Teens Reach meetings to share their ideas. And there are direct contact with the teen users as to what's really in and what's that trend. So I am, having worked at different branches, this is a thriving Teens Reach group that we do have here. And so that's really like a key into what are those trends. Some challenges you were saying, whether if it's, and I don't want to say it's a challenge, but because it is a safe space, we are able to provide that where those if they are not in school or coming in and watch me and wanting a safe space to be in, or if they have to be here until closing, those are certain things that we see but it's not necessarily, it's not an issue, it's just an observation. And we do what we can to provide them with whatever resources available. And I know that Cassidy has worked with our teens and our children communities that maybe has more to share with that.
I've been working here for more than 5 years, about 5 years right now. Demographics haven't changed much. It's been consistent to what you saw in the statistics. In terms of attendance, I think the reason why we have such a high attendance is not just only because of the amount of programs we have, also the variety. It's difficult to engage with children, with teens, if you don't keep up with the trends. As we all know, mostly for parents. So, having said that, we do our best to keep with those trends, to keep them engaged. to critically think what would they want at their library to come back every single, not just day, weekly, monthly, next year as well.
All right, I think that's all I can see here. As this is an informational item, thank you. As this is an informational item, no vote is needed, and I'm going to move on to item 4B. And this is a program spotlight with the Disability Access Committee. Yes. Wonderful. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Kathy. So now we'll move on to the library system-wide disability access committee, which is masterfully led by Rebecca Gonzalez, who's a branch manager for us at West Valley and Calabasas branches, and she also steps into the breach for her passion, which is to make sure that the library is accessible and inclusive for everyone. So Rebecca, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, first of all, for inviting me here today to talk about one of my absolute favorite things. And something that is of particular importance to me. I have a brother with severe physical disabilities, and I have personally witnessed how difficult it can be to navigate in a world that was not designed to be accessible to you, and how isolating that experience can be. So this is something that I am very personally passionate about. And I also want to mention that I do co-lead with Jenny Choi, our deputy director. So it has been a very wonderful and fun experience working with her on this. We put together this committee in December of 2019. I did not lead it initially. I was one of the members. And it has been really a pleasure to see how the role of this committee has expanded. Our charge is to make recommendations and implement improvements based on the evaluation of equitable disability access to services, resources, and technology, with a focus on accessibility of programs, events, technology, and services, developing staff guidance and procedures for related services, considerations for policy modifications, addressing and responding to ADA accommodation requests, complaints, and concerns. Okay, so there are a lot of pieces, and as I mentioned, this is kind of expanded over time. We have increased our members, which has also increased our capacity to commit to outreaches, offer programs and events. We have adaptive adult programs, and this is always one of my favorite things to talk about because it's really rewarding to see people come to programs and just have that social space and just the excitement of learning new things. And our audience has expanded in a lot of interesting ways. I will speak for Calabasas, one of my branches. Prior to the pandemic, they had offered programming that attracted date groups. So people who would bring in adults that they coordinated activities with developmental intellectual disabilities. We saw some of that attendance drop off after the pandemic, but then what we observed was we started getting a lot of seniors, people with mobility issues, that we hadn't specifically been reaching out to, but the programs that we were offering did appeal to them. We also offer an inclusive story time. Right now, Isla's doing it at Cambrian monthly, and it's a really great program. The idea is that it's a slower paced story time, not as much loud music. They may be using icons to help kids kind of follow what's coming next so that they can have the expectation of what's coming next. A very thoughtfully designed program, and it gets a lot of interest, especially from parents that have children with autism that might feel a little bit more overwhelmed in a traditional storytime setting. So those are just a couple highlights of those programs. We also really work hard to go out into the community to bring information about the services and programs that we offer out into the community, because oftentimes the people that are hard to reach are the ones that aren't easily able to make it into the library. So we have to go to them. Some of the ones we regularly attend, we do the annual City of San Jose Disability Awareness Day. Parents Helping Parents is a really great organization. They offer resource fairs. One of our favorites to attend is the Transition Fair, which is essentially kids that are kind of aging past the point where they may have been receiving services through their school, the IEPs, and transitioning into adulthood and what that looks like for them. We have other ones that we do at the San Andreas Regional Center. One of them that I highlighted was the annual Superhero Summer Festival and 5K. This was one that we attended for the first time this year. And the staff who attended were really excited with the turnout and got to meet a lot of really amazing people. The San Andreas Regional Center also puts together a lot of really great resource fairs, so we like to be present at those as well. We are fortunate that we do have committee members that have lived experience in the disability community, and they like to share about these experiences and talk about topics that are important to them. So they do post blog posts occasionally throughout the year, especially when it marks, significant times such as, the anniversary of ADA. So things that are important to them and things that they want people to know. We also have a really exciting offering of alternative formats in our collection. Something that was a little bit more recent that was added was Braille books for youth. Over time, there had been requests trickling in from parents in various areas requesting Braille books for their young kids. And so it was really exciting. I think there was some money set aside, I think maybe by some friends groups, and then some other funds were procured. And so they were able to add Braille books for youth to 5 locations, and those locations were specifically chosen based on where they had been seeing requests come in, as well as proximity to organizations that serve the blind. We also have our audiobooks and e-audiobooks and our ebooks. Something that's really cool about our ebooks that people may not know is that like Libby, for example, they have dyslexia font. They have ways you can adjust the contrast, the size of the font. So it makes our materials really accessible to a lot of people on their own devices and readers. We still have an audience for large print. Large print is especially popular with our library by mail program, which I will touch on soon. We also have read-along books. And then of course the closed caption and sound descriptive DVDs. At this point, most DVDs and DVDs and Blu-rays have that available as a function. Another big focus of ours, and in more recent times, has been staff training. So thinking about staff education, really looking at our procedures. We are also a resource to staff. So if something comes up and they're not really sure what the answer is, and it's related to disability access, they reach out to us, and it may be something that we discuss as a committee or something that I can talk with Jenny about, and if appropriate, maybe we can reach out to local organizations or even our city attorney if we need some clarification on different pieces. And then we can get back to staff with clear guidance moving forward. We also manage ASL interpretation requests. Actually, we do get quite a few from Tully. I would say Tully has probably put in the highest number of requests for ASL interpretation. So it's always great to coordinate that for them. Workshops, webinars, we want to explore topics that relate to customer service, disability equity, just accessibility in general, whether that be digital or physical accessibility. We have assistive technology. Right now, we just have magnifiers and identified wheelchair accessible workstations, but we are looking into other types of assistive equipment. So we are trying to make contacts with local organizations or people who have lived experiences to see what would bring value to their library experience. And then of course the language access, as I mentioned, in addition to our in-person ASL interpretation that we can book, we also have video remote interpreting available, and this can be just pulled up even at an information desk, and it's offered through our regular language access service. So that is something that if someone just needs that on the spot ability to help somebody, it works very similar to how the spoken language access service works. It just requires a screen. Okay, so library by mail, such an exciting program. This is a service that provides books and other materials by mail to San Jose Public Library members of all ages who are unable to live, or I'm sorry, who live in the city of San Jose and are unable to visit the library due to a temporary or permanent disability. So I was really excited because when I saw the new recent stats and I saw that we have 42 active participants, I actually looked back at my notes from when we first presented about library by mail to the commission. We had soft launched it in summer of 2021, but then hard launched it in April of 2022. And at the time that I presented to you all with Jenny, we had 8 people enrolled. So this number 42 is very exciting. And it really just goes to show that this is a service that people want to be able to use the library and access our collections, even if they are not able to physically get on site. As far as physical materials go, book CDs and large print are still pretty popular and regularly requested by our active participants. We've mailed 318 just in the last 2024 to 2025 fiscal year. Materials, and the way the program works is they can put in requests or holds for the materials, or they can basically connect with our library by mail team and be like, this is what I like. Basically surprise me, that I like this format, or I like this topic or genre. And then we have a really great team that works out of KPRR that packages all those books up, mails them out, and then they process them when they are mailed back to us. And we do have a longer checkout time for these materials so that people aren't feeling so rushed to send them back. And there's also opportunity to renew if they just need a little bit more time. Okay, we have a website, sjpl.org/accessibility, that highlights a lot of the things that I've talked about today. And it's actually going through a refresh right now. So pretty soon you're gonna be able to see it's gonna be flashier, newer, more aesthetically pleasing, hopefully a little bit more user-friendly for people who are looking for information. And it's something that we are continually building out and adding information to. We are so open to feedback. So a lot of the changes and things that we implement come from recommendations or questions that we get from the community or just that have come up in discussions as a committee. We've also done campaign highlights before. In March, we did one for Development Disabilities Awareness Month. And so that's kind of just a picture of what that looks like. But of course, you are always welcome to explore, but we have a few days because we're going to be publishing our changes very soon. Okay. So what's next? What's next for us? So this is something, access is always evolving because our world is always changing. So access can look different and it looks different for different people. So it's something that we are always learning more and we are thinking about very deeply and adapting our ways to try to make the library as accessible as possible for all San Jose residents. We are going to be continuing to post blogs, offering programs. We have staff picks lists, some of them that highlight maybe authors that are part of the disability community that write about their experiences or write stories and characters. And we compile that to make it easy for folks to find. We've been looking at circulation for Braille and large print, as well as our e-resources and audiobooks, and making considerations thinking forward. When every year we have a budget, right? So thinking about how we might want to improve and expand those collections. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we are looking into more assistive technology, more outreach and community events. And we've actually started working a little bit more closely with the city's Disability Affairs office. I've recently been starting to attend their liaison meetings, which has been a really great experience because it also gives us opportunity to see what other folks in the community are offering as city departments and how we can maybe collaboratively work together and what are maybe some things that we can work together on. And then we do have a highlight video of one of our very prolific committee members. He has pretty much been with us from the start. He writes a lot of our blog posts and he is very passionate about outreach in particular. And so he likes to go and talk about the library, share about his experiences working with the library. And hopefully it will load. Yeah.
Oh, access. You hit the video, text us a video, header.
Oh, okay, here we go. Well, if it doesn't work, to sum it up, Bill is awesome.
I've served on many committees, but the committee I love most is
That's really
the Disability Action Committee. I'm very dedicated to serving and, making the library more inclusive, serving people with disabilities. That's always been a lifelong passion of mine, and
All right, well, Bill is very, very passionate and you're welcome to go and read his blog post. He is awesome and it is so inspiring to work with people like Bill. That's okay. We're library people, we adapt. So the last slide is basically just a shout out to everyone who is a part of the Disability Access Committee. As I mentioned, I co-lead this with Jenny, but what's cool about this committee also is it's an opportunity for staff of varying classifications to come together and talk about these things and just brainstorm ideas. And I'm just so blessed to work with so many people who are just so passionate about things that I'm passionate about. And I'm sure we'll get that slide up at some point, but I think the next slide after that is for questions.
All right, thank you. So before we take any questions or comments, I'm gonna ask if there is any public comment on this topic. Moving on. All right, fantastic. So I'm gonna open up for commission discussion or questions for Rebecca, Commissioner Roney.
Hi, my name is Jerry Roney. I have sort of a weird background here. I just came back on the commission. I was a member for 2 terms about 10, 15 years ago, and then got asked if I would like to go back, so here I am. And I am an attorney, and I consider myself to be a civil libertarian. And one of the things that I'm gonna ask you, if you have any experience in this, is people out there in the public who feel that it is their mission to tell other people what to read and what to look at and things like that. In fact, the Library Foundation had a very interesting program about what was going on a month ago, having to do with the freedom to read and ban books. And that's my hot button issue. Somebody comes in and tries to tell the general public of CNSA, you can't read that because I don't like that. No. And I'm just wondering if anybody in the room has had experience with that, or if you have seen it. Accessibility is a big word, and accessibility as well as letting people get into the building if they're using one of these is a kind of accessibility, but accessibility in saying this book is going to be on the shelf and that book isn't, is another kind of accessibility. I'm just wondering if anybody's got any experience with that. I hope not, but if you do.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner. We were very lucky in the city of San Jose that we have a very well-loved, well-trusted organization. We don't see book challenges, often at all, less than one a year. And they, are typically, I mean, they haven't ever been successful, in the last, I don't know, 2 decades. Also in the state of California, it is prohibited by state law for us to remove books from the collection simply based on philosophy or viewpoint shared in the material. Now, that's not necessarily true for school libraries. They fall under a different set of requirements, and certainly our districts in San Jose, you might have heard different conversations at school libraries in San Jose. And Rebecca, I'd be really interested in your in any of your experiences, especially through the library by mail or the content that's provided in, you know, our very intentional collection development to make sure that we have an inclusive collection. But no, we don't see book challenges in San Jose.
Yeah, I was gonna say, through this lens, I have not seen that for in challenges in regards to like this program or alternative formats. What I have seen is occasionally at the branches, a parent might bring something to the book and it's usually like a young adult graphic novel and they're like, my 8-year-old picked this up and I think the pictures are inappropriate for children. But luckily, we actually have a very solid, I would say, collection development policy. And so that is publicly available on our website. And so that is something that staff can really lean on. And just, you know, here is our criteria for selecting books in our collection and giving them information about what we believe about intellectual freedom. And then I would say the majority of the time, it ends there. They don't want to pursue it further.
Thank you, please keep it up.
Commissioner Wu.
Thank you for the presentation. It was wonderful.
Can you,
I
had a, can you use them, sorry.
is it on?
You want to press that, there you go.
Thank you. So you mentioned that you are going to the city group essentially that works with disability issues. And I was wondering, just listening to your presentation, and having been on the Parks Commission before, there's some programs and events that you offer that seem parallel or the same as PRNS. So how closely do you work with them to make sure that they're complementary programs, that you're not overlapping and doing the same thing on the same day? How closely do you work with them?
That's actually a really great question, and I will say, being the liaison is a relatively new thing, so I haven't gone to a lot of meetings yet. But I am excited about the potential to work a little bit more closely with other departments and to hear more about what they are offering. I don't know if we've had as much crossover as one might think. I have seen like the catalog of what they offer, and I think like story times and things like that are not things that are typically on their roster. So, you know, and even with the adult activities, we're doing things like bringing in performers. We're doing things like game nights, like bingo. We're doing things like crafts. So I would actually be very interested in maybe a future collaboration. But at this time, I don't know if there's as much overlap as there seems to be on the surface.
Have you all ever thought about like community liaisons on this committee as we talk about, you know, we're serving our community and more readily getting that feedback?
I think we're always open to feedback. So if you're hearing things from the people in your communities, please pass that feedback on to us, because sometimes it's hard to reach everybody, and so sometimes you just need those people to make those connections to get that very much needed and valued feedback. So please, if you're hearing things, please do tell us.
All right, let's all thank Rebecca, our senior librarian and co-chair of this committee. Get excited, everyone. The next item on the agenda is item 4C, and this is an action item, so look alive. I think Fiona is gonna come up. Okay, perfect.
Good evening, Commissioners. Do we need to do a quick stretch before we get into budget? This one will be quick.
Yeah, because it was a reminder, we have 2 additional meetings after this, right, ready to after. Yeah.
All right, so good evening, Commissioners. I'm Fiona Cabana, Administrative Officer here at the library. This brief presentation today will give an overview of the budget, Commission Budget Subcommittee, including the role, benefits, and our timeline, and hopefully we'll conclude today with a selection or nomination of a few volunteers. So the goal of the subcommittee is to draft the commission's annual budget position message to city council. The time commitment is, we anticipate to be about 3 hours over the next few months. That includes a 30-minute subcommittee kickoff meeting, a few hours to do independent time to actually draft the message, review and make edits. And then we'll kind of regroup again for another 30-minute subcommittee prior to the February Library and Education Commission meeting. Just to reiterate the benefits of being part of this committee, you'll learn a lot about the City of San Jose annual budget development process. And again, it's another opportunity for you all to advocate for library services. The timeline for this process. So today we hope to select 2 to 3 members to volunteer to be on the subcommittee. After today's meeting, you'll get an email from our team, start to schedule those virtual meetings. In December, the subcommittee will meet to review the timeline and discuss libraries' priorities. And then again, that's the independent time as well for the commission or the committee to develop the actual budget position message. In January, we'll regroup prior to the February commission meeting, and then at the commission meeting in February, we will present that to the full commission for review, approval, and if there's any changes you want to make, we can make those before then. That concludes my presentation, and so do we have any volunteers already?
A question?
Yeah, no question.
I'd be interested in this, but what is the format for volunteer meetings? I got a problem driving around this stuff like that.
I will say, I don't know, Commissioner Banks, last year, if you had any separate meetings aside, so it was just, at least the coordinated Zoom meetings that we had in the first half and then the second half, and then I think for the most part, it was kind of working off of the working draft together.
And so was it online type of thing, Zoom, that kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're one intern, are you? Oh, question. Yeah.
Okay. Any other volunteers? Okay, are you taking the notes? Okay, cool. Just making sure. You need at least 3, correct?
Yeah, and then I know there's a few commissioners out today, so there are folks who, after today's meeting, want to join.
It's a fun time. It's so much fun, I promise. All right, what's our Boston Brook? Let's do that. It's only 3 hours in the next like 4 months. That's pretty good. Yeah, okay. Fantastic. Did I need to call for public comment? Do we have any public comment? We do not. Okay, perfect. Well, now that we have had the discussion, is there anyone else who wants to volunteer? We just can't make quorum on the ad hoc committee, I think, but other than that, you know, all are welcome and, it's a lot of fun. Or maybe not fun, depending on the. You can get really creative and we will help you set up. Okay, fantastic. So this is an action item, and so I'm going to, ask for a motion to accept the nomination of those who have been nominated to the subcommittee. All right, Commissioner Mendoza, do I have a second? Second from Commissioner Wolf. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed? Are there any abstentions? This motion carries. Item number 5 on this agenda is the council liaison's announcements, and I will call on Councilmember Kamei for all your announcements.
Thank you so much. And it's great to come to this wonderful Tully Library. It's my first time here. I spent time on the west side, but it's fabulous and the space is just wonderful. So thank you for having it here. I just wanted to let you know that this week, the council on November approved $75,000 increase to the grant allocation for the San Jose Public Library Foundation. It had been $1,105,000 and it went up to $1,180,000. And it's grant funds that will be dispersed regarding San Jose Learns, Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Programs and Workshops, SJ Access Grant Program, Digital Skills and Access, Teach for America Ignite Reading Program. So that was on the consent and passed at the council. Looking forward to this Friday, the Schools and Cities Collaborative Meeting is going to be on November 21st. And the agenda will be discussing a literacy initiative next year and safe routes to school. We had worked with the superintendents and that seems to be one of the areas that keep sort of top of mind is the safe routes to school. And we've been working with the Department of Transportation to enhance some of the crosswalks, some of the bulb outs and just having different techniques to help kids walk to school and parents. Last year, my office in District 1 collaborated with our firefighters, the bomberos. They do a toy drive every year. And I said, you know, it'd be really nice to give kids books. You know, there should be a book collection in every home. So we kind of like did it very quickly and joined with the firefighters last year and it was very successful. So this year we're doing it again and we're also in collaboration with the library. So I'm very, very excited that there's going to be a book drive from December 4th to 18th and it is only going to be children's books. We want them to be new books because we're going to be giving them away to many children and families of need and we want them to grow their home library. So I'm very excited about that. We're going to have book barrels for collection in City Hall. And we're asking, you know, many of the staff at City Hall to also participate. There's going to be 2026, many of you have heard about the major events preparations that continues for next year. We're very excited about the Super Bowl as well as FIFA, as well as many other sports events. And we're coordinating very, very closely with all of the different law enforcement and emergency services, as well as VTA and others to be a part of this very exciting time. So you'll probably hear more about it. I know a lot of people are very excited about making sure that watch parties and other things don't just go to San Francisco, but can happen here and that we can benefit as a community with all of that's happening in 2026. So you'll hear more about that later. Climate Smart came before the City Council in terms of having new strategies for solid waste. So that is something that I know many of our youth are very, very interested in, especially, you know, climate change and what is happening there. So that came up. I just wanted to let you know, since you just have some individuals on budget. About a month ago, we had the review of last year's budget and we kind of take a look at what the forecasts say. And it looks like there's good news and there's bad news. So the good news is that it's sort of leveling off. It hasn't, you know, dropped because I mean, you know, we were really uncertain of how it would be. So the revenue hasn't dropped off. It's sort of leveling off. But I think that next year we're going to have other challenges. Many of you know that the federal budgets have been well, I don't know. It just sort of leaves me speechless, but you know, it's been quite a sad situation, right? So I think that it's going to magnify many of the problems, especially in communities that really need assistance. So we're watching it. I think that it seems very people are very optimistic that 2026, because we have such big events coming to the area, that it will be a boost to our economy, and we're doing whatever is possible to be able to help that. So I think that, keep your fingers. So, that's the end of my report. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Councilmember May, and we will be mindful, and the subcommittee will be mindful as we put together a thoughtful letter to the council. We know you're doing your best, so we get it. Item number, let's see, item 6 on the agenda is chair's announcements. And are there any announcements to be shared by the Library Education Commission Chair, also me? You'll hear a little bit more about it probably in the director's report, and then when I provide the report for the Library Foundation as a liaison, but I did attend the signature author event with Vicki Nguyen and Supervisor Betty Young, as they talked about her book, Boat Baby, and her journey from San Jose to Santa Rosa to New York City. And so it was a really excellent time, and I'll let everyone else provide the report, but I had a great time attending that event. So kudos to the Library Foundation. As I've mentioned before, I bring my daughter, my husband, or myself, sometimes together, depending if I like it that day. Bring our daughter to the Rose Garden Library every week, every Saturday specifically, so she can hang out. Well, first she goes to farmer's market to see her bread guy, because he gives her a cookie, and then she goes to the library, but don't worry, she doesn't eat it in the library. But I was very thrilled to receive a STEM kit from Science is Everything, so to celebrate STEM, and so she was able to kind of engage with it a couple of times, and so we just want to thank the library for those that partnership and those kits, because she really loved it. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to our Deputy Director of Public Services, Ann Grabowski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the interest of time, since we have 2 more meetings to get through, I will be extremely brief, but we'll make sure that these announcements are sent out to you over email so that you can read them. But in very short order, last week we launched a new AI initiative with Mayor Mahan and with 3 leading technology companies, which is the name of that initiative is AI for All, and you'll be hearing more about that in the coming weeks. We are proudly celebrating Native American Heritage Month at SJPL with a variety of events and story times and programs. We are gearing up for our 13th annual local LIP, which is our local authors program. That's going to happen at the end of January, January 24th at King Library. We are preparing diligently for our winter reading program, which will run from December 1st to January 4th. And like everyone else in our country, we're very excited for the upcoming holidays. We will be closed to observe Thanksgiving next Thursday and Friday. We'll be closed for Christmas on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then we are closed on New Year's Day. But of course, our resources are always available through our website. And again, this was very brief, but we'll provide this over email so that we can continue the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Director Grabowski. Item number 8 is comments and announcements. Are there any announcements for meetings attended by commissioners as commissioners? All right. Item B is the Library Foundation board report presented by me. As I mentioned, the second signature author event was on Saturday, this past Saturday, and there was again a fantastic conversation, a lively funding, and energetic auction. Very jealous of those who are going to New York City. Altogether, with ticket sales, sponsorships, and donations, the Library Foundation raised over $150,000 to support the Library Foundation. Give them a round of applause. But wait,
it's not over. Giving Tuesday is rapidly approaching on December 2nd, and so, we would like to encourage you to donate, the amount of money you, would have donated otherwise by books, if you would like. So, San Jose, sjplf.org, if you wish to donate. The end of the year campaign is underway with a matching gift of up to $50,000. So for those who have already given everything they need, perhaps a gift of literacy or belonging or lifelong education in their name would be appreciated. And they will gratefully accept tribute gifts made in honor of your friends and family, and will send a notification card to the honoree without including the amount of your gift in time for the winter holiday. The foundation is also looking for a senior accountant with nonprofit experience. Please look at sjplf.org/careers if you know anyone. And the final meeting of the Library Foundation Board of Directors is this Friday, November 21st, where they will hopefully approve the 2026 organizational budget of $5.2 million. Item number 9 is information and upcoming opportunities for commission participation. This is a reminder to see the full San Jose Public Library program calendar at sjpl.org. Check it out on the website. There are a few things that I was like, oh darn, I should have gone to that. Item number 10 is any item for future commission meeting agendas. Is there anyone who has anything they'd like to identify for discussion items for future meetings? Oh, Commissioner Brooks, possible.
I would love to learn more about the AI for all, and kind of what's going on there. I know we talk about digital literacy, but often when we talk about digital literacy, we talk about learning to code or, you know, those sorts of things. But when I think of digital literacy, I think of my children using AI today and then telling me something. And I was like, that's not how that works. Let's talk about that. And safety. And so shows with this too. So that's
Thank you. And we'll get that agenda for a future discussion. All right, any other items for discussion? Okay, perfect. Just a reminder that there is no commission meeting in December. Our next regular meeting is going to be held on January 21st, 2026, 7 p.m. at MLK Library, third floor. And so I will adjourn this meeting at 8:14 p.m. Don't leave, because we have another one. All right, welcome to the Library Fund Oversight Committee. All right. Let's just. Okay. So I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 8:14 p.m. of the Library at Bond Oversight Committee.
I will take a roll.
Yes, you can take the roll.
All right, Chair Ramos,
Here.
Vice Chair Bain,
Here.
Commissioner Wolf,
Here.
Commissioner Westfall, Commissioner Apposito, Commissioner Bossenbrook. Here. Commissioner Sandal, Commissioner Mendoza, Commissioner Rooney, Commissioner McCarry,
Here.
Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Bustamante, Commissioner Baker. Uniform.
Thank you. Item number 2 on the agenda is the consent calendar. Would you like to approve the minutes for the library, and the action item is to approve the minutes for the Library Bond Oversight Committee meeting of November 20th, 2024. This is an action item. Is there any discussion on the item? Hearing none, I'm going to ask for a motion. A motion from Vice Chair Banks, second from Commissioner Bossenbrook. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries. Item number 3 on the agenda is open forum. And members of the public that wish to comment on an item that is on the agenda today for this agenda. Those wishing to speak should raise their hand and be called upon to speak for a maximum of 2 minutes. Are there any public comment? We do not. Okay, all right, thank you. Item number 4 is our discussion and action, 4A, is discussion action item of our annual library bond oversight review, and welcome back, Brianna.
Alrighty, good evening again, everyone. I'm Fiona Havana, the administrative officer here at the library. Today's presentation will cover the role of the bond oversight committee, overview of the bond fund. We'll take a look at fiscal year 24-25 expenditures, and then conclude with the results of the audit. I'd also like to share that our city auditor, Joe Royce, is in the audience today, so when we get to questions, if you have questions for library team or Joe, you're here. So as you're aware, the role of the bond oversight committee is to understand the allowable costs of the bond fund, review expenditures for compliance with the ballot language, as well as review and approve the outside audit of expenditures on or before December 31st of each year. Just an overview of the library bond. So in November 2000, Measure O was approved, which gave the city and the library $211 million in general obligation bonds. This is restricted to the purchase of property, construction, and capital improvements to libraries. This does not allow for administration or staffing costs. And then in 2019 and 2020, the capital management staff charges were no longer allowed by the city, whereas in prior years it wasn't eligible cost. In fiscal year 24-25, there was $785,919 in expenditures, which included branch efficiency projects such as LED LCP lighting, boiler replacements, and repairs, HVAC repairs and HVAC replacements, as well as water heater replacements, as well as expenditures related to our branch forward library projects and post-construction costs. The ending fund balance of the bond fund was $5.7 million, and the library will continue to spend down on these funds with the upcoming Biblioteca Latinoamericana branch renovation, which we anticipate will extend the bond. To take a look at the audit basis, so the outside audit was completed by NGO, and as part of the outside auditor's review, any significant issues are identified or commented on. The audit is based on financial records, justification and backup documentation related to project management costs, which include contracts, expenditures, liquidations, and as well as tasks performed by capital project staff. The result of this year's audit was that there was no audit findings of inappropriate expenditures. And that concludes the presentation. I'm available for questions.
All right, thank you. Before we have any questions, is there any public comment? We do not. All right, thank you. I will open it up for commission discussion and question. Any questions about the audit? All right. I think this goes back to you, Fiona, to talk about the draft memorandum. No? No? This goes back to you for a vote. Okay. I'm gonna call for, I'm asking them to vote to approve the draft memorandum. Is that correct? Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to approve the draft memorandum?
So move for discussion.
Commissioner, Rooney, there's a, so the, attachment. Yeah, the attachment is, I think, a draft. So, okay, yes. I have a motion from Commissioner Rooney. Do I have a second? Second from, Vice Chair Banks. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstention? All right, that motion passes. Thank you. So the next library bond oversight meetings will be November 18th, 2026. And I will adjourn this meeting at 8:21 p.m. Yes, thank you, everyone. Okay, our last meeting of the night is the, Library Parcel Tax Oversight Committee. So I'm going to call to order this meeting at 8:21 p.m. And then, Zee, will you please see if, call the roll and see if our quorum is still here.
Sure thing. Chair Ramos. Here. Vice Chair Banks. Here. Commissioner Wolf.
Here.
Commissioner Westfall. Commissioner Apostita. Commissioner Rosenbluth. Here. Commissioner Sangamo. Commissioner Mendoza. Here. Commissioner Rooney.
Here.
Commissioner McCary.
Here.
Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Bustamante.
Here.
Commissioner Baker. You have quorum.
All right, thank you. Item number 2 is an action item on the consent calendar to approve the minutes for the Library Parcel Tax Oversight Committee meeting of November 20th, 2024. Can I have a motion? Commissioner Mendoza? Do I have a second? Vice Chair, Vice Chair Banks, I got Vice Chair Banks here. Any discussion? Sorry, everyone. All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? That motion carries. Item number 3 on this agenda is open forum. Are there any members of the public that wish to comment on item on the agenda today? Those wishing to speak, will have a maximum of 2 minutes. Are there any comments for public comment?
Fair enough.
Thank you. All right. Item number 4 is a discussion action item on our annual Measure S parcel tax oversight presentation, and welcome back.
Hello again. I hope you all know my name now. To be honest, I'm the administrative officer here at the library. So tonight's presentation will cover the parcel tax oversight committee role, the history of the parcel tax, overview of expenditures from fiscal year 24-25, and conclude with the results of the audit. So just as a reminder, the oversight role is to understand the allowable costs, review expenditures for compliance with the ballot language, and review and approve outside audit of expenditures before the end of the year, December 31st. So just a little parcel tax history. So each year we have our parcel tax audit, but to recap on the parcel tax, between 1995 and 2005, we had the library benefit assessment district. In November 2004, Measure S was approved, which allowed for the parcel tax to go through 2015. In June 2014, Measure B was approved with about 81% of San Jose residents approving, and it included the library parcel tax would be subject to inflation, starting at $25 per year per single family home, and that there would be a proportional assessment for other property types. It has been effective since July 2015 and will go through 2040, and we're about 10 years into that, 25 years. So appropriate expenditures for the parcel tax. We are allowed to use the parcel tax on library operations. This is library open hours and staffing, repair and equipping of libraries, as well as the administration costs for the audit. It also includes homework and educational programming, everything from children's story times to teens and senior programming, adult literacy and job readiness programs, as well as our books, materials, and technology access. In fiscal year 24-25, the consumer price index adjustment of 2.37% was applied to the library parcel tax rate. The total library parcel tax revenues were $11.1 million. And during the fiscal year, the library parcel tax fund had expended about $10.4 million for library services, program materials, staffing, technology, as well as support costs. An additional $38,252,000 was specifically transferred out for the fund share of the city hall debt service. The ending fund balance of the library parcel tax is $5.3 million, which is a change of a beginning fund balance of $641 or a change of by $649. So the auditor's review was completed again by NGO, and as part of the outside auditor's review, any significant issues are identified or commented on. And that is all based on justification and backup documentation. Examples include contracts, invoice support from expenditures and liquidations, as well as tasks performed by our capital project staff. As a result of this year's audit, there was no audit findings of inappropriate expenditures. And so that concludes my report, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Fiona. Do we have any public comment? We do not. Thank you. So I will open this up for discussion or question of the commission. Commissioner Mendoza.
A quick question about the memorandum. I need to look at the line items. It's pretty straightforward. It's just one that I don't know what it means in revenues, investment income. What does that refer to? Do you know?
I have the Pedro can answer this question for us.
You're always the auditor. So the funds from the parcel tax are included, it's tracked within a specific fund, library parcel tax fund. But all the city's funds are held for the most part in a large investment pool. And so the investment income is an allocated portion and then allocated. So that's just.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. I figured because it was such a small amount. But I'm like, I didn't see it referenced, like, explained anything else. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mendoza. And I learned something new. Thank you to our city auditor. Any other questions, or comments? Oh, yes, Commissioner Bustamante.
For the balance sheet, can you explain what the personal versus non-personal services are?
So personal services are our staffing costs. So in the parcel tax specifically, in fiscal year 24-25, we had about 74.55 full-time equivalents, and that's about 129 positions, department-wide. And then non-personal, that's everything more of like programming costs, supplies and materials.
Sorry, what was the number that you said?
Oh, 74.5. Full-time equivalent.
Thank you. Any additional questions? All right, I think we are now off the hook. Thank you to Fiona and our city auditor for being here to answer any questions and provide this fantastic report. I do have to take a vote. You are correct. And so, can I get a motion to approve the draft memorandum as outlined in the attached memorandum of the agenda? Commissioner Mendoza, any second?
Sure.
Commissioner Rooney, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? This motion passes. Next item on the agenda is our regularly scheduled meeting, which will be held in November 18th, 2026 at 7 p.m. And then item number 6 on the agenda is the conclusion of the adjournment, and I will adjourn this meeting at 8:30 p.m. Thank you all.